let's hop to Tom Brady's return to New England this weekend.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So we have I'm going to let you kind of set the stage here. You know the history here better than I do. And my take on this is not a hot one. So I'm going to let you take the reins here, set the
Oh,
stage for
okay.
us.
All right. Yeah. So the Patriots playing the Bucs this Sunday night at Gillette Stadium. It's going to be Tom Brady's first time back at Gillette Stadium playing the Patriots since he left the team in March of 2020. And there's a sizable number. Well, I'm not sure exactly the exact statistics, but there's a good portion of Patriots fans who were like, Tom Brady's dead to us. Once he left us, he doesn't mean anything to us anymore. Which, like, I'm
I'm
not
going to
sure.
stop you real quick.
Yeah.
Did you see the comments, Bill Belichick's comments this week about,
Oh yeah.
like, it wasn't the Patriots' decision. They would have welcomed Tom back with open arms. Tom just thought that there was a better opportunity in Tampa. Do you think that comment, that kind of like lifting up the veil of how things happen, do you think that amplifies kind of this sour taste that Patriots fans have in their mouth?
Yeah, I think it partially does. I think it partially doesn't.
What's your
Well,
personal opinion on this whole thing?
I I think that Tom Brady was right to leave, and I think Belichick is in the wrong here. Belichick and Kraft, they didn't do enough to want to keep Brady. They were just sort of like complacent with him, and then he was like, guys, you're really not going to pay me anymore or give me more offensive weapons. It's sort of like what happened with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. He's just like, hey, you're not going to give me any more offensive weapons. Like, I'm pissed,
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because from a front office standpoint, I could kind of see how they might have been, between a rock and a hard place, because the dude's how old is he? 40, 45? Is he older than
40,
that?
44 right now.
44. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as a front office person, you have to be saying to yourself, all right, this guy, maybe we get another good year out of him, another good 2 years out of him, right? At most. But he's the type of dude that he's going to be 55 and still slinging it, provided he has like friggin' Mike Evans and Goodwin and all these guys that they're Gronk to throw to. I mean, and an offensive line to protect him. And so, to say they took a gamble on not re-signing a 44-year-old quarterback is kind of a ridiculous thing to say if you're talking about anybody besides Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So it's an interesting case, that's for sure. I mean, look, my personal take on this is that I'm interested to see how he's received by the fans, for sure. But as far as like the game goes, look, I don't think that Tom goes back to New England and loses to a rookie QB. I just don't think that happens.
Yeah, me neither.
No matter who's coaching on the other sideline, I actually think this is something of a blowout. And that's, that's acknowledging that the Patriots have played better than I thought they would play at the start of the year. But yeah, beyond the homecoming aspect of it, I don't think there's an actual like game type story here. Like, oh, it's going to be close. I really don't think it's going to be close. I don't know if you have different thoughts on that.
No, I feel the same way. And as a Patriots fan, who's still a pretty diehard Patriots fan, even though Brady has left. Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is not a close game. Like,
Of a loss too. I mean, Brady's a villain, that's for sure. He's a villain for a reason, because when he loses, he comes back and just torches whoever's in the way next week. So
yeah. This, yeah, the Patriots, although they have improved slightly from last year, they're still nowhere near the level they were with Brady and Edelman and Gronk.
Right.
And so, yeah, with Brady and the talented roster that they have on both sides, really, on offense and defense. Chris Evans. I mean, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, both having pretty good years. Gronk is having a great year. Also, he had 2 touchdowns that last game. So Gronk is still performing at a very high level right now still. So yeah, I won't be surprised if the Buccaneers blow out the Patriots. Yeah, I'd like to see a close game. I'm sort of like, I'm a Patriots fan and I'm also a Brady fan. So I don't know how many people are still in that camp. I would say probably, I'd like to say still a fair amount, but I am still, when it gets down to it, I want the Patriots to win because they are my team. Even though I want to see Tom Brady succeed, not here. Even though I think he's going to. But in an ideal world, it's a close game. The Patriots win, but I don't think that's going to happen. So
that's super interesting. I had similar thoughts when over the offseason, Aaron Rodgers was. Whether he was contemplating or not, the talk was that he might jump teams. And I was thinking to myself, what would I do in that situation? Like, would I remain like super loyal to the Packers? How would I go about? So that's interesting to hear you say that you're going to ride with the Patriots because that's your team. But like in the same breath, that's super interesting. So I'm glad that I don't have to struggle with that one.
Yeah, and enjoy it while you can, because when Tom Brady first left, I bet all Pats fans are having an existential crisis. It was like Brady is the only quarterback we've ever known pretty much for the past 20 years.
People our age, it's like that's necessarily true, right? He's been the quarterback there since I was born. So
like what are we gonna do? And so it was really tough. And I think there's definitely just an emotional connection with people saying they don't like Tom Brady anymore since he left. Is just like I think it's just they wanted Tom Brady to stay a Patriot, and I would have liked that too, but at the end of the day, the man can do what he wants. He's
business.
He's a free man. It's a business, and if you have a chance to play with actually like competent wide receivers besides Edelman, and a really good defense and
an illustrious coach. I mean, he really didn't fall that far off with Bruce Arians, from Bill Belichick to Bruce. There's not a big fall off there. So it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes sense. So it's going to be quite the storyline.